50 Shades of Alpha, not quite locking in just yet, and there it is not yet. Come on, you guys didn't pick Kendra. 50 Shades, just showing he's one of the trollsiest members of the community. Arborist is going to be using that Tactician Sakari. And you've got Snitch on, for the Spirit side, Snitch on Varian. Dorfer on King of Mass, taking that one away from 50 Shades of Alpha. Scipio on that Hunter Basco. Lumber, please, Gladiator Kendra. And Punisher, the shot caller, actually, for RE.EU on that.
Dibs and Varian. That's a scary matchup. I think we're going to see. Do you think we're going to see a Dibs Varian lane there, or are we going to actually see a Dibs Kindra lane? Both are actually very compelling arguments right there.
Yeah, it's one of those lanes with this team comp is going to have that double magic damage, right? I feel like Dibs Varian is probably the more standard kind of composition that we're going to see here, and I think Kindra and King of Mass is going to be the other lane.
On the flip side of that, though, Dibs with his Dream Wrap Dibs with his Dream Wrap and his Nightmare gives Kindra tremendous damage output potential, and gives her additional protection to kind of get away from those early deep dives that she has to do to be effective.
Yeah, I just feel like, in my opinion, Kindra has to go a little bit almost too ham sometimes to proc those Nightmare procs if she can't use the Night Strike, her Q, to do it. But Varian, on the other hand, using that Celerity Shell, using the Progress Gate to always stay safe, and he's just a ranged base shaper, right? Allows him to proc Nightmare, I feel like, pretty easily. But we shall see where these lanes go, what the team compositions are, and how this shapes up. Again, I mean, McScrag on Moya, that's an exciting shaper if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely an exciting shaper. So here we go. All right, starting off things with Michaela, Tulsa Michaela. He's going to go with an Armor, Life Drain, Power Mastery. Just a really balanced loadout there. Taking a look at Moya, Duelist, not at all unexpected for an auto attack shaper like Moya. Very balanced loadout for Ashabel, Defense Pen, Armor, and Magic Resistance. And Warden, Mara, you kind of expect that on 50 Shades of Grey. And then same thing on Sakari, Warden again, not at all unexpected.
Varian, looking at the Spirit side, you have Life Drain, Armor, and a little bit of power. It looks like a Snitch getting spotted out here as he goes to place this ward. An interesting ward placement from here. Actually, it's a ward placement to me that suggests that they think that McScrag is going to go ahead and counter jungle. That's not a deep ward by any means from RE.EU. It could alternatively have been like, oh, I'm going to try to ward deep. Oh my god, the entire team is here. Let me just throw something down, like a consolation prize. Right now, you see Bob is going to be on top of that ward. They place a ward of their own, that Eastern Harmony ward. Going back to the loadouts real quick, you see Basco running Power, Armor, and Life Drain, so no big passives from him there. A little bit of Health, Armor, and a Warden Shield for Kindra. We have Armor, Power, Warden, and Brawler for Dibs, so he's going to get tankier with the more shapers that are around him, more enemy shapers specifically.
I don't know if you saw it or not, but that Ice Lance from Arborist into the Parasite pit after yesterday, where Soon TM kind of surprised them for that level 1 fight.
Checking over that wall just to be safe.
Just to be safe this time, yeah.
So it looks like both junglers are going to start off at their northern side camps. Moya on his armor while Basco is at his power buff. So, you know, McScrag sometimes likes to take his buff, go check a small camp, and sometimes counter jungle. But I feel with that ward that Bob has that's super deep, they know where Basco's starting, so they know that there's no point in invading at this moment. So it looks like Moya's going to go ahead and do his own blue buff. Basco finishing off his small fish camp, and we could potentially look for a fairly early gank. Again, like we talked about, Bob is a team that actually likes to push very, very early and very, very often. And that could put them in hot water if a Basco comes in for a gank.
They do tend to play more aggressively in lane. Arborist landing those Ice Lances over and over and over again. All he wants to do is hit level 2, because if he hits level 2 and he's got 3 stacks of Ice Lance on it, that Shatter is going to be devastating.
See the difference in the junglers right here? You see Moya going from big camp to small camp, while Basco has actually gone big camp, small, 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 and then finally his buff. So Moya is actually looking for a potential counter jungle right here, but I really like the smart, intelligent warding from RE.EU. They have their own armor buff warded. They're going to spot McScrag here, and I'm wondering what their counter strategy is going to be here. If they're going to just let him take it, or if they're going to go try to focus him and push him off.
It looks as though he's going to be able to get away with it, but let's see. Oh, here we go. 50 Shades coming back just to give him a little bit of backup.
Absolutely. Just being the meat shield, just saying, hey, I'm here. If you're going to come, this is going to be a 3v2, and you're going to have a bad time. So great warding from RE.EU notifies them that that has happened. But again, Bob pushes like madmen. And I mean, King of Mass and Kindra stuck underneath their own binding. Nothing they could do. There's no way they could respond to that without losing experience, without losing farm, without losing more than they would gain from potentially killing Moya.
All right, we see Basco roaming down here. Looks like he might actually get by undetected if he does.
He walked through that ward north of Parasite Pit, and you already see Arborist collapsing down bottom, and he's going to walk through yet another ward. These wards from BOB are everywhere around the Parasite Pit. There is a hard line of scrimmage down the middle of the lane. Oh my gosh, Mikella going on Snitch super hard, but not quite able to get anything out of it. Ice Lance comes out, hitting the first one, hitting the second one. A blink forced out from Dibs there, so trying to play super safe. Didn't want to give any ground to that Mikella and Sakari lane up there. The Endless Lights comes out, not quite hitting. Otzi is able to just walk on out of that one. A great Tree of Life into Snapdragon from Mara allows him to go ahead and get on out of that unscathed.
Alrighty there. So Ashabel playing safe, playing conservatively, just farming up. I think Otzi knows he needs to get that aggression early. He needs that penetration early. If he wants to start making a dent.
Oh, a very, very ill-timed flourish into Mara and Ashabel there from King of Mass. You know, that happens sometimes, and it's one of the saddest things you'll see. Moya already level 5. That just shows the advantage that he took 4 buffs in the time it took Basco to take 2 because of the pathing. And Basco's actually going to be caught out here by 3 members. The Kindra and King of Mass are starting to collapse, but it may be too little too late. The Snapdragon will come out. Not quite connected with Basco. He is running out of here. Will he be able to make it? The Gale's coming out to slow his movement speed. The E will keep him safe, and it looks like he's going to get out of here with a nice flourish. Endless Delights. That was a great, great collapse there from RE.EU to protect their jungle Basco, who's already behind. Had he died there, I think McScrag would have taken control of this game.
Saved by the onslaught, definitely there. You know, that, like we were talking about earlier, Bob's ward placement, outstanding. That detected Basco going down there, allowed the bottom lane of Bob to rotate down and catch him out. Almost resulted in a kill, not quite, but at the very least, it slowed him down.
Bot lane, you continue to see, you know, BOB trying to push as hard as they can, and with an Ashabel, it's a pretty easy thing to do. Whenever you go into kind of your short range stance plus Gales, it does like the 20% increased damage. You can push very, very hard. So right now, they're letting this lane kind of sit in the middle. In the meantime, Moya is up top lane, going to go ahead and take those small Ugger camps. Otzi gets hit by a Flourish Captivate, takes a little bit of damage, and 50 goes in and trades back with the Kindra. You know, most of Ashabel's damage, pretty much all of it, skill shots, right? Yeah. So very, very hard to make her effective, but Otzi is a great player. Up top lane, you see Basco burning 1 blink and nothing else. Tulsa's going to turn on his gold standard and try to hack away at this Basco, but he is very, very tanky right now. And Moya, in the meantime, taking those money picks, already dinging level 6 to Basco's level 5. They know that this is here. McScrag comes in, throws a ward just north, just southwest of the green buff. Landfall from him. We'll pick up Basco, but will they be able to follow up on this? A little bit of a miscommunication, I feel, from BOB. That was just a one-man landfall into 0 follow-up from Sakari or Mikella.
I think if he waited just like a moment longer, he would have had a good follow-ups from Sakari. He could have slowed him with the Ice Lance. But Sakari, not being level 6, doesn't have his Avalanche yet, so I would have actually waited on that personally.
I mean, this is what we see from McScrag, though. He is bullying. He is pushing Basco around. He's saying, you're not even safe in your own jungle. You're taking a small camp. I'm here to ulti. You're going to go down, retreat down bot lane. I'm going to harass your spear wall. I'm going to take your green buff. McScrag this is running a clinic, essentially, on how to counter jungle 101.
Yeah. And that is the second buff of Scipio's that he's taken now. So Scipio not able to fall back on what he's been relying on lately, which is the Ferris jungle. Having to change it up, move to the Basco. Is that impacting his gameplay today?
I feel like it is, you know, but as a jungler, and especially someone who's trying to innovate with a way like Ferris and early Parasites and stuff like that, you have to be aware of that. Because if teams catch on and they start banning Ferris, and all of a sudden they realize you're weaker on other Shapers, it puts you in a terrible position. Because it's like, if they just ban out your one kind of go-to Shaper and you've got no real follow-up, then you're just not a non-factor in these games.
Yep. So taking a look really quickly, Tulse going back with the, not early buy, but the appropriate buy, I would say, picking up that early ambition. We've got a Desire and a Resilience still from Moya. Aggression, we expected to see that. Will and a Life. Purity and a Will from Mara. A Inspiration.
Purity and Clarity. From,
Clarity.
Just wanting to throw out more Shatters, more Ice Lances. That's all she wants to do at this point. And eventually going to build that to a direct.
Yep, I imagine we will see that duress very, very quickly. Do you think he's going to end up rushing duress on this?
Potentially, you know, I would kind of expect it. Duress, just an incredibly strong item, regardless of the most recent patch that nerfed it just by a hair. I think at this point, so where we are right now, RE is just now starting to buy. Bob has an advantage. They've got 54 Spirit Workers to 33. I think they're going to use this time that RE.EU, this is really important to look at. When you stagger your buy times, you give up advantages such as this.
Yep.
Bob knows that Dibs went back. They know that Kindra started to go back. In the end, she ended up not going back. But with Dibs back, he does have his ultimate, obviously, Reverie, to be able to fly in there. But he would be late to any potential team fight that did break out. And an easy Parasite comes out for BOB.
Absolutely. So showing how important early game Parasite is, getting that significant economy buff from that stage 1 Parasite kill. 50 Shades of Alpha just bullying Dorfer.
Basco top once again, just getting denied by the icebergs of Sakari. You know, Basco, at the very least, he can use his onslaught to get over those walls, but he already used it to try to get in there, and the walls just denied him 100%. Really, really great walls coming out from him.
Taking a look at ward placement right now, it does look like RE.EU could use this as an opportunity. Oh, McScrag.
Not even forced to burn his ulti, which he has right now. I expect him to pick up this Kindra if necessary. It doesn't look like it's going to be necessary. Kindra's going to try to do everything he can. The Gale comes out. McScrag still holding on to his ulti. I'm surprised that he didn't burn it there. I mean, there was a good bit of distance between himself and Kindra, and they kind of just let him go. Arborist with no blink up top is going to get taken down by 3 members of RE.EU. And they're saying, you took Parasite, you took a kill down bot, but we're going to answer in kind with a jungler gank up top and take a kill of our own.
Yep, it does look as though Basco is spending a lot of time up top right now. They're really going to try and do everything they can to put as much pressure as possible onto Tulse. Wrath of Heaven coming in from Ashabel, pushing off Snitch and Punisher.
And I think that's the right call from RE.EU. This bottom lane of Mara Ashabel is incredibly hard to gank and get a kill on. Yes. Between Stormwall, between Snapdragon, between the overall tankiness of Mara, especially when she pops her Force of Nature plus Bramble Crush, it's almost a mistake to gank that lane, I feel. It's going to be really hard for you to do so. You need King of Mass to land a perfect Flourish, Captivate, or Endless Delights. McStrag coming in, burning the Progress Gate from Varian. Does decide to pick up the Dibs. We'll see if anything can come into this. The immediate Snapdragon, 50 Shades, is going to lock him down long enough for Otzi to pick up that kill.
Well, really well played. I think we all kind of saw this coming. We knew that McScrag had his landfall available.
The 3-man road up from RE.EU. The Unbreakable comes down, slowing Tulse, but he actually decides to change targets as soon as that binding falls. An ill-timed engage from RE.EU puts them underneath a dead binding while trying to go ahead and defend it. Not a fantastic engage from RE.EU whatsoever.
We're going to see McScrag going back. Think he's going to pick up that Vengeance now?
I would imagine sometimes he builds a little bit more tanky before he does end up finishing the Vengeance, and there you go. You see the Ambition finished off, plus the Freedom, the Resilience, and the Life. So Bob hitting a decent power spike right now. The Spirit Workers have regenerated themselves up to an even 54-54, but Bob has taken that Parasite. They've taken 3 kills to the 1 of RE.EU, and they're already up 2 bindings as well, which is of the utmost importance.
So I think we see a strategy kind of emerging right now from the Bob team. They're gonna do everything they possibly can to protect Tulse, protect Otzi, keep them alive, use Moya to reposition, use 50 on Mara to lock
the
down.
Avalanche does come out, stunning Punisher, landing 2 stacks of the Frozen, but Tulse actually getting taken very low by Snitch. The Uprising comes out, landing on Discard. The Wrath of Heavens will come down and slow Basco. They picked up 1 kill. RE.EU's looking super good in this fight. McScrag is caught between 4 members of RE.EU, but he is a slippery otter, and it looks like he's going to try to bait this fight out into a 50 Shades. Bramble Crush comes out, taking Dibs very low. Will he try to Snapdragon over the wall? Oh no, Otzi picks it up with a Gale instead, and now Kindra, Force of Nature, preemptively popped 50 Shades, making sure he gets that stun off as soon as he sees Kindra. The Stormwall comes out, knocking her back, but she goes back in with her Nox Aeterna. The Shatter, not quite enough to finish it off, but 50 will take that kill for himself, and now Scipio goes down. McScrag is on a killing spree. 50 Shades, Snapdragons forward into the Tree of Life to get the reset off, but not quite enough distance to go ahead and take down King of Mass. They turn their attention to Snitch on Varian. McScrag looking for the blink over the wall into the recharge bolt to try to get the stun off, and McScrag is now relentless. A fantastic fight, pursuit. engage everything from B.O.B. right there.
Wow, just talk about an exciting play right there.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier. McScragg is an amazing Moya player. You know, you can't discount Moya. You really can't. Her strength in repositioning, her strength in just auto attack damage, and her sustain is outstanding.
McScragg is just showing what it means to be a high-level jungler right now. He is completely in control of the buffs. He's in control of the map. They're in control of the parasite. McScragg is on an absolute tear right now against this RE.EU lineup. He is now effectively 3 levels over Basco.
Absolutely, not even counting the items, right?
No. Just pure levels, 3 levels over.
And Parasite is respawning right at this very minute. We do see Bob actually positioning. Do we think they're gonna? Yep, they're gonna go for it.
They're gonna do this 100%. They have the item advantage. They have the level advantage. The only thing I feel like that RE.EU can do here is have a miracle kind of vanquish steal. But 50 Shades turning his attention as soon as they come in. Landfall coming out, picking up the Basco into the avalanche. Picks him up, body slammed by an otter, and they got an iceberg dropped on top of his head. Fantastic play from B.O.B. Great synergy. And that's one thing to talk about, too, with Moya. Her landfall, there's a huge indicator. That is an indicator for, hey, Arborist, drop your avalanche here. Hey, Otzi, throw your Gale here. Hey, 50, throw your Snapdragon here. Yep. It is just CC for days whenever Moya lands.
CC for days, indeed. So there's the second Stage 1 Parasite for Team Bob. And we see McScragg continuing to dominate Scipio in the jungle, taking his armor buff as well. Can Scipio catch up at this point?
Man, it'll take a miracle for them, honestly. Their gladiators are doing decently well. Kindra level 11 to Snitch's level 10 on Varian. But right now, they're just so far behind the power curve. You see 50 Shades of Alpha. Look how tanky he is right now. And the coordination from B.O.B. to take both Spirit Wells at exactly the same time, pretty much 2 seconds apart. Really, really smart play calls and really, really just fantastic coordination.
You know, we saw this yesterday from Bob. They were right on top of the Spirit Wells as soon as they unlocked. They know the importance of it. If you've never played Dawn Gate before, the Spirit Wells are basically economy resource nodes that generate additional passive economy for your team. So their importance, their strategic importance throughout the game is pretty high, I would say.
All right, you see the deep wards now coming out from Bob. They've pretty much been there the entire game, but let's take a look at the farm and the kills for these Shapers. Tulsa 126 CS, Ambition Pain. Otzi 136 CS now. Destruction and Freedom built 2-0-4. The Gladiators over on the Spirit side, you're going to have Snitch on Varian 111, 111 CS. That's a lot of ones right there. He has the Ambition and he's building into the Pain as well. He just has the advanced item Force right now. And Lumber Please 010, 134 CS, still great CS, and a Valor built on him on Kindra.
Boy, talking about Scipio right now, you got to feel a little bad for him. He needs to be tanky. He absolutely has to be tanky because he is the front line for his team. And right now, all he's sitting on is that Desire and a Form.
Yeah. You know, not only are we seeing the item advantage and the item power spike come out from B.O.B., but the level power spike coming out as well, which directly relates to the spell advantage. 50 Shades going a little bit ham here, forced to burn his Tailwind to go in and get out of there. But so you get new spells levels 1, 10, and 20, right? These are kind of potentially utility spells, defensive spells, offensive spells. And right now, only 3 members on RE.EU have their second spell. Basco and King of Mass still lagging a little bit behind, while everyone on B.O.B. not only has their second spell, but they're only a couple levels away from getting their third spell, of course, once they reach level 20. So this game is looking very good for B.O.B. RE.EU needs a catch, but at this point in time, B.O.B. has such deep wards, it's really, really hard for RE.EU to even take a step out of their base.
So we do see a Ninja Otter in the enemy jungle right now. They're just setting this up. They're being patient. They know what they need to do, and that's going to be to demoralize this team even more, and that's keep Snitch down. Keep him from scaling. Keep him from building up, because if he does manage to get just a little bit ahead, he's going to be a
Shell does come out, revealing McKellar, but he already knew he was there. The one thing he didn't know was there was actually a Moya, but a great Dispel Blink will keep him out of danger. The Reverie from Dibs for good measure is going to keep his range carry alive, and that is going to be a slightly failed binding dive, but really just a great escape by Snitch.
And in the meantime, 50 Shades of Alpha, Arborist, and Totsu are bullying this bottom lane, taking this binding down to about half health.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where Sakari needs a lot of stacks to deal damage. She's not building a lot of damage, which most Sakaris don't, right? But what her advantage is that if she can stack up those Ice Lances, her shatters will obliterate someone. However, when you build a damage Sakari, oh, there's a landfall coming out onto one member of RE.EU, and he actually stasis as soon as he lands. Lumberplease is trying to save his life for a few more seconds. He uses the E to get on out of there. Tulse taking down Punisher, and the shatter from Arborist taking down Dorfer on King of Mass almost instantaneously. So,
what an amazingly well-placed Wrath of Heaven from Ashabel there.
Yeah, really, really good play from BOB, coordinating their ultis. That Parasite is going to be up in about 10 to 15 seconds, so they could turn this tier 3 binding kill. They could turn those 2 kills into a potential Parasite. McScrag, again, like clockwork, taking this power buff away from Scipio.
Poor Scipio, he is level 9 still, level 9. The entire team on Bob, most of the playmakers on Bob, level 14, level 13 from 50. Sakari's the only one lagging back a little bit at level 11, but honestly, that doesn't really matter at this point.
She is more often than not used for her utility, used for the stun on Avalanche, the AoE engage, the icebergs from her W. So she doesn't really need the levels, I would say. Sure, having a level 2 ultimate is fantastic for her, having a level 3 ultimate is fantastic for her, but as far as everything else is concerned on her kit, she's not building power, she doesn't really need the ranks for damage, she's more using them for utility. So let's take a look at what this scoreboard tells us now. You got 2-1-2 on Tulsa, you got 2-0-6 on Otzi, 4-0-3 on McScrag. Looking at this scoreboard, it definitely looks like McScrag is pretty much the carry right now. He's got that ambition, he's got that pride, he's got the freedom, and he has a Ruin.
Ruin. That's going to make him hit like a truck right now.
Yeah, not a ton of health, I would say, built from RE.EU, so that Ruin isn't going to deal as much damage as I feel like it could. I feel like he could have perhaps gone into that Vengeance rather than rushing that Ruin and finish that one off. But this Parasite is going to be brought down by BOB. It looks like a no contest win.
Interesting though. I do remember Conquest used to be like the item du jour for Moya. Is that not the case anymore?
It's still a very strong item, but at the same time, at this point, you're more looking for your auto attacks than that one big upfront piece of damage,
Fair
right?
enough.
And that's what Conquest is. You bolt in, you slap him with your eel once, and it hurts like oh, Dib's flying by that. It hurts a whole heck of a lot. But he's looking for more sustained, longer team fights, and he's going to deal way more damage with the the Ruin than he would with the Conquest. Picking him up underneath the binding and dropping the Avalanche right on top of it. That's 2 members down. That's 3 members down. And now the Force of Nature from Mara is coming out, focusing down the Kendra. Looks like she'll fall shortly. There it is. Hey, Dibs, you got that spear well, but your entire team is dead.
You know what? That landfall to me was just an amazing bait.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, because you know what that did? Everybody on RE.EU just collapsed on the landfall saying, oh, we're going to save our teammate, we're going to take out the Moya.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not what happened. That Avalanche just stunned you all. The damage was unleashed from the Gales, from Michaela. Well played by Bob.
You know, they're like a moth to a flame with that landfall. They see the indicator and they say, okay, let's go in, we'll protect. But against the team comp that BOB has formulated here, with Sakari, with Ashabel, with Mara, you don't want to group up. And they just fell prey to it. They played right into BOB's hands. BOB going to try to end this game at the 21-minute mark. A very quick game here. Michaela just kind of zoning out Basco. It looks like RE.EU is going to give this one up. The final payment comes out at the last second from Tulsa. And he's going to just keep doing it over and over because, you know, some things happen at the end of the game. But a victory coming out from BOB, GG's coming out from RE.EU, and it was just that. A fantastic